September 7th, 2019. Yardley, Birmingham. A man pulls into his driveway after a night out. He has no idea that death is waiting in the shadows. A gun is raised, the trigger is pulled, and nothing happens. The weapon jams. In that instant, fate intervenes, saving a life and exposing one of the strangest assassination plots Britain has ever seen. To understand this story, we must start thousands of miles away in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Amy Betro was born on August 27, 1979. On the surface, her life was unremarkable. Midwestern America at its most ordinary. Her mother, Jean, was her rock. Her father, Steve, drifted in and out, his life shaped by drug abuse and eventual prison sentences. That instability at home meant Amy grew up seeking belonging elsewhere. She was intelligent, creative, and outgoing. In her teenage years, she discovered disc golf. It became her obsession. She competed in tournaments across the Midwest, collected trophies, and was known for her competitiveness and energy. But Amy had another side. She was also drawn to nightlife, the music, the clubs, the raves. She immersed herself in Milwaukee's party scene, building a reputation as a DJ and promoter. Friends described her as magnetic, able to make strangers feel like best friends within minutes. But others noticed a recklessness, a hunger for chaos. She studied education and graphic design, worked odd jobs, and even briefly joined the Milwaukee Brewers baseball team staff, something she bragged about to friends. But stability never lasted. Instead, she leaned further into the party lifestyle. By her 30s, Amy's life had fractured. She faced felony charges for identity theft, accused of using Brewers players' credit cards for hotels and flights. When summoned to court, she never appeared. A warrant was issued. To her family, it was like losing her twice, once to the lifestyle and again to the law. Her mother later admitted she had to grieve Amy as though she was gone. To neighbours, she remained a puzzle. How could the disc golf champion and fun-loving promoter end up accused of fraud and vanishing from court? No one could have guessed the next chapter that Amy Betro would become an international fugitive accused of attempted murder. While Amy's life spiraled in Wisconsin, across the Atlantic another drama was brewing. In July 2018, Seher Boutique, a respected clothing store in Birmingham, became the stage for a violent feud. Run by businessman Mahumad and his son Sikander Ali, the shop was a pillar of the community. That day, Mohammed Aslam and his son Mohammed Nabil Nazir walked in to browse suits. What started as a dispute over price escalated quickly. Voices rose, tempers flared, then fists flew. Witnesses described chaos, racks collapsing, fabric torn, customers scrambling. When police arrived, Nazir and his father had been badly beaten. They left bloodied and humiliated. For Nazir, humiliation was worse than injury. He felt mocked, disrespected, emasculated. Word of the fight spread quickly in Birmingham's close-knit circles. In Nazir's mind, his reputation was in ruins. From that day on, Nazir brooded. What should have been an ugly scuffle hardened into obsession. To him, there was only one solution: revenge. And not just revenge, but total destruction of the Mahumad family. Nazir needed someone to carry out his vendetta. Someone outside Birmingham, someone invisible. Online, he found her, Amy Betro. They connected digitally, through apps, messages, late-night calls. Nazir, older and calculating, presented himself as a wronged man, a victim of betrayal. Amy, restless and isolated, responded. Their bond grew quickly, equal parts romance and manipulation. To Nazir, Amy was perfect. An American with no local ties, already a fugitive at home, and desperate for direction. To Amy, Nazir was excitement, dangerous, charismatic, and offering her a role in something bigger than herself. By December 2018, she had flown to the UK to spend Christmas with him. Their relationship deepened. By August 2019, she was back, this time under an alias, prepared not for love, but for murder. August 22nd, 2019. Amy landed at Heathrow. On social media, she was just another tourist, smiling in photos. In reality, she was Becky Booth, renting a silver Mercedes and stocking up on burner phones. Nazir provided the gun. Together they tested it in a Derbyshire wasteland. Neighbours later reported seeing her practicing in back gardens, dressed head to toe in black. For weeks she tracked the Mahumad family, learning routines, memorising routes. By September she was ready. Nazir's humiliation was about to turn into violence. Amy tracked the Mahumad family, memorising their routines, their homes, their habits. In every sense, She was preparing like a professional hitwoman. But she wasn't a professional. She was reckless, inexperienced, and about to make mistakes that would expose her. Sikander Ali returned home, pulling his silver SUV into the driveway. The night was quiet. From the shadows, a figure emerged, Amy Betro, dressed in a niqab to disguise her identity. She raised the pistol. She pulled the trigger. Nothing. The gun jammed. In that instant, Ali leapt back into his SUV. He slammed it into reverse, equipping the parts Mercedes Betro had been using. The dent left behind would later become a vital clue. Ali sped away, shaken but alive. By pure chance, fate had intervened. But the night of terror was not over. Hours later, Amy returned. This time, she arrived in a taxi. She stepped from the car, raised the gun, and fired 3 rounds into the Mahumad family home. Glass shattered, walls splintered. By fortune alone, the house was empty. No one was hurt, but the message was clear. The family were marked, and Amy was not finished. The next day, her weapon of choice became words. Soon after, Aslat Mahummad's phone buzzed with chilling texts. "Stop playing hide and seek. You're lucky it jammed. Who is it? Your family or you? Pick one." She even lured him to a supermarket car park, daring him to face her. For the Mahummad family, this was psychological warfare. Violence had already scarred their home. Now, fear invaded every waking moment. On September 9th, Amy boarded a flight to Chicago. She believed she was safe. But her trail was unraveling. DNA on a glove inside her abandoned Mercedes. CCTV tracking her every move. Burner phones linking her to Nazir. In a last-ditch effort, she and Nazir mailed gun parts and ammunition to an innocent Derbyshire man, hoping to frame him. But forensic scientists dismantled the ruse within days. The DNA was hers. The cover-up collapsed. Amy Betro was no longer invisible. She was a wanted woman. What followed was a pursuit spanning 5 years and 3 continents. Interpol issued a red notice. The FBI and West Midlands police worked together, chasing leads from Bangkok to Toronto. In Thailand, she blended with tourists on crowded beaches. In Canada, she worked under aliases, keeping her head down. Finally, she drifted to Armenia, where she tried to disappear altogether. Investigators described her as a ghost always one step ahead. Flights missed her by days. Leads ran cold. All the while, Amy projected an illusion on social media. Smiling selfies, beach photos, snapshots of freedom. But behind the facade, her life was unstable. Constant moves, cheap rooms, endless paranoia. Her family at home lived in agony. Jean admitted she sometimes wondered if her daughter was even alive. In July 2024, it ended. Journalists traced her to Armenia. Local police, working with international partners, arrested her. In January 2025, she was extradited to the UK. The chase was over. July 2025, Birmingham Crown Court. The prosecution's case was formidable. DNA, CCTV, phone data, the dented Mercedes, the taunting texts. Jurors heard how she test-fired the weapon, how she disguised herself, how she tried to frame an innocent man. Amy showed little emotion. Reporters described her as cold, detached, as though she was simply watching someone else's story. After 21 hours of deliberation, the verdict came back, guilty of conspiracy to murder, possession of a firearm with intent, and importing ammunition. Her conspirators had already been sentenced. Nazir to 32 years, his father Aslam to 10. Now, it was Amy's turn. Amy Betro, like Nazir, was also sentenced to 30 years for her part in the failed assassination attempt. The judge, Simon Drew QC, said that she played a leading role. He went on to say, "He went beyond simply reaching an agreement to kill, and, in reality, he did intend to kill Mr. Ali. It is only a matter of chance that Mr. Ali wasn't killed. You were engaged in a complex, well-planned conspiracy to murder. You were prepared to pull the trigger and did so on 2 separate occasions." For Sikander Ali, the memory of that night is indelible. The click of the gun, the sudden panic, the dent in his SUV that marked the line between life and death. For his father, the messages were a torment. Every buzz of the phone carried dread. For 5 years they lived with the possibility she might return. Only with the guilty verdict did they finally breathe freely. When the truth emerged, the community was stunned. An American woman from Wisconsin, flying across the Atlantic to carry out a hit over a fight in a boutique. It sounded like fiction. Locals compared it to a film, but for Yardley it was terrifyingly real. This case is a story of escalation. How a quarrel over a suit spiraled into an international assassination plot. It's also a study in obsession, of how humiliation hardened into vengeance and how a disillusioned woman became entangled in violence. And it is a story of justice. For 5 years, Amy ran. But justice was patient, and in the end, it found her. Amy Betro wants to be extraordinary. Instead, she became infamous, a failed assassin whose name will forever be tied to one night in Birmingham. The Amy Betro case is a chilling reminder of how ordinary lives can spiral into extraordinary violence. But what do you think? Was she a victim of Nazir's manipulation, or did she step willingly into the role of an assassin? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more stories like this, dark, detailed and real, don't forget to hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video with others who follow true crime as closely as you do. Every week, we uncover another case, and your support helps us keep telling the stories that must be heard.